Hey everyone, welcome to Dad Casual, where full-time dads and casual gamers come together to discuss everything we love about the games we wish we had more time to play. Thanks for being here. If you would, please take a moment to follow and subscribe on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and your podcast platform of choice. And if you ever have any questions, topics, or thoughts, feel free to email us at dadcasualpodcast@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. And without further ado, this is Dad Casual. Hey there, listeners, and welcome to lucky episode 13 of Dad Casual. On today's episode, we give a casual review of Overwatch 2 and discuss the beef between PlayStation and Xbox. Today, we have the usual Dad Casual cast with Andy Bond.
I don't like the word beef.
Why not? Beef is great. It is.
know.
I don't know. It probably is a little uncomfortable in most situations.
It's funny.
Just beef. Like, how do you have beef, right?
Mm-hmm. Like you and I have beef? No, don't like it.
No, I don't like it anymore. All right. Well, we also have Preston Jensen.
What's up, guys and gals?
And excuse me? Just everybody in general. Just
he's addressing like the audience. Like
the
just
royal
because it's dad casual doesn't mean it's all dad. Like it could be some ladies out there. Ladies.
Okay. And I am Houston Dragna. So yeah, what's up, guys? How are things going?
Dude, it's awesome, man. I'm ready for the week. And I feel like I've made it through like an era of like hard work and you know, some grinding. Preston's going to pick up some slack from me while I'm gone, but I'm feeling pretty chill.
Yeah, dude. And happy anniversary, right? 10 years.
Thank you very much.
10
big deal.
Years.
I know. It doesn't feel that long, so it's but it's pretty awesome. We were gonna have our anniversary, and then both of our kids back to back got the flu.
Well, to be clear, you still had your anniversary. You still had an anniversary.
Yeah.
Whether or not you had an anniversary dinner, you know,
we did ramen and egg in bed while we watched the finale of She-Hulk, which
quick,
I really
hot takes.
I really want to like it. I was trying to be. I'm often that guy who's like, when like the world hates something, I want to be like, no, I'm going to give it a shot and I'm going to like it. I don't know. I thought it was one of the least enjoyable Marvel products put out in a while.
Dang. Hot take.
It ended so bizarre too. I could see there's an audience for it. It just might not be me.
Are you saying it's for women?
No. I think it's a style of comedy. You gotta that.
I felt the same way about Miss Marvel. I just wasn't into it.
I kind of liked Miss Marvel.
It just felt lackluster to me, like a lot like the CGI on She-Hulk.
The best parts about Miss Marvel were the like non-superhero parts, like the family and the dynamics, and like the moment the superhero parts came in, I was like, this feels forced.
Yeah.
Dang.
Preston, how you doing, man?
I'm good. My anniversary is in 2 days. So
wow.
Yeah.
And you guys really are best friends, right?
Yeah. Only good marriages begin in October. That's all.
There it is.
My wife's birthday is in October. Does that kind of count?
Yeah.
Sure.
Anniversary of
There's
her
a tie in there. Okay.
Yeah.
Is that when you married her?
We're going.
No.
We're going to Disney next week with no child. So
no child.
This is actually the first time I will be going to Disney with my wife, just us two. We've always gone with people or with my son. So
nice. Yeah, we
definitely looking forward to it.
We went to Disney Universal for a couple days right before we had our kid, and that was not right before. That was a few months before, but just by ourselves, no family. So yeah, that's a great experience. So I hope you really enjoy that, both of you guys and your trips. I went camping this weekend with my whole family, including my daughter, for the first time, which was an adventure for sure.
Camping.
You were smiling, but you looked tired.
Very. We planned for 2 nights, even booked the site for 2 nights, only stayed one. So went super great.
You know what, man? You tried. That's
did.
awesome.
We gave it the old college try. We actually slept in a tent, like the whole nine. Like it was cart camping, but still.
Dang.
Lots of fun. We're gonna try it again. Maybe when it gets a little bit cooler. Like it was cool, but it wasn't like good camping weather. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do y'all both like camping?
Yeah, very much so. Kristen's like whole family is way more into it than mine is, but I enjoy it. And I've been quite a few times now.
Gotcha.
Well, all right then. So we have a little bit to talk about. So we're gonna get started actually with no, you know what? We'll push the main topic to a little later. I think to have some suspense with that. But let's go on to our first story for today. There is more beef and spark to the console wars. We'll call it spark. How about that? We'll continue with the console wars narrative.
I've missed the console wars. Do you feel like they took a break for a while and then now it's like the beef is back? There it is.
You did it.
You got to have the beef.
It's in my head now. I can't.
Shout out Ian. He'll know.
Shout out Ian.
So this segment is called Xbox calls PlayStation too big to fail following UK agency's criticism of Activision Blizzard deal. So we have some articles, one of which from Kenneth Shepard from IGN. This is a little bit long, so just bear with me for a second. In response to claims by concerns raised by the UK's Competition Markets Authority, the CMA, Microsoft released a lengthy statement to GamesIndustry.biz calling the criticism is unsupported and pointing to PlayStation's leading place in the market as to the reason why. Quote, the suggestion that the incumbent market leader, this is from Xbox, so the suggestion that the incumbent market leader with clear and enduring market power could be foreclosed by the third largest provider, that's Xbox, as a result of losing access to one title, and this is reference to Call of Duty, is not credible, Microsoft said in a statement. Xbox is a platform which is in last place in the console, seventh place in PC, and nowhere in the mobile games industry distribution globally, has no incentive to do this. Instead, its incentive is to encourage the widespread adoption of cloud gaming technologies by as many providers as possible to encourage the major shift in consumer behavior required for cloud gaming to succeed, the statement read. I'll pause there for a second. So to break it all down real simply again. So PlayStation, it made a grievance to this CMA, the Competition and Markets Authority in the UK, which is one of like the regulatory entities that kind of make sure there's no like monopolies and stuff going on in the world, that because of the Activision and Blizzard acquisition, sorry, it's a tongue twister, that they're going to be hurt severely financially because they're not going to have access to Call of Duty. And Xbox is like, yo, dog, you and Nintendo are bigger than us. You're going to be fine.
Isn't that wild? Like, I've thought for like not just between them, but like for years between our friends, it's been like PlayStation has Xbox is better, and I've never ever heard Xbox in a public statement acknowledge that they are behind in any way.
Yeah.
So it is interesting to see like the dichotomy between, in a business sense, it made sense to acknowledge, but then like all their marketing's still going to say like, we're the best.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's interesting.
And especially here in America, like they're an American company, like with Microsoft. So they've got to put on that really strong front. But yeah, I mean, you go outside of the US almost like immediately, PlayStation and Nintendo are way so far ahead of Xbox it like doesn't even make sense. Like it's just.
Is it the same in the US or is Xbox leading in the US?
No, I still don't think they're. I think PlayStation. I think they're still in third in the US.
It's PlayStation's. Well, I don't know for the current. The problem is with the current consoles, is that they're almost tied still because of the inability to manufacture
the supply chain
parts
issues. Yeah,
and the supply chain issues.
That's true.
So it's. With the current generation, it's tied. So what they're doing is they're counting current and previous generation. And when you count the previous generation, PS4 doubled or more than doubled the Xbox in the United States. And then even more so worldwide. So it's like PlayStation is dominating them. But then PlayStation's dominating them in this market. But Sony is not dominating Microsoft as a company. So it's like there's a weird argument here of like,
yeah, Microsoft is $1 trillion company and Sony is significantly
like 100
smaller.
billion or something, like
which is not small, but yeah, not it's not one of those Fortune 100 mega corporations like Microsoft is.
So I just looked it up.
Go ahead.
PlayStation 5 monthly sales is what this looks like. 7.9 million, and Xbox Series XS total sales is 7.4 million.
Yeah, so current gen's right around the same point, right?
Yeah. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, I think they're talking about like overall user base though.
Yeah. For sure.
So
especially when it comes to selling third-party titles that now all of a sudden become first-party titles. Like user base is all that matters at that point.
yeah, and so we can read this other quote, but it's all predicated on Call of Duty or the Activision Blizzard acquisition. And so this says Microsoft went one step further, suggesting that if every Call of Duty gamer on PlayStation switched to Xbox, let that sink in for a second, the PlayStation gamer base would remaining. Sorry, this is worded weird. The PlayStation gamer base would remain significantly larger than Xbox. Of course, it failed to back up that hypothesis with any data. It concluded while Sony may not welcome increased competition, it has the ability to adapt and compete. Gamers will ultimately benefit from the increased competition and choice. So that's a wild statement. If every player from gamer on PlayStation switched to Xbox, the entirety of the remainder of the PlayStation gamer base would still dwarf Xbox's gamer base.
Of the Call of Duty players. That's specifically that
players.
game.
Yeah.
Like, not every game, not every user, that wouldn't make sense. But yes, if all the Call of Duty players were like, all right, we're all going to Xbox, PlayStation would still have a bigger user base.
Yep.
That makes sense. I mean, Call of Duty, while the biggest game, isn't 50% of PlayStation's users. You know what I mean? Like, it's still just one of the drops in the bucket. But yeah, that's pretty wild.
So do they think that Call of Duty will go away?
No,
from PlayStation?
I think it's one of those things is they don't have it in contract. So it's like, I think it's one of those, it's just uncomfortable for Sony because they're like, yeah, you can say whatever you want with these goodwill statements, but and so far all Phil Spencer and Xbox have said is, yeah, we're going to keep it around for 2 and 3 years and then we'll see what happens. Like, it's these generalized statements.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I listened to GameScoop today, and I think Justin Davis on GameScoop said it best that probably what the most likely scenario is that it's not going to go away, but what Xbox is going to do is going to put it on Game Pass for free, or at no extra cost, and then keep it at $70 on every other platform to incentivize Game Pass even more.
And never, ever, ever discount it too, because they will have no incentive to discount it on PlayStation. It'll be $70 all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that $15 Xbox Game Pass Ultimate is going to look mighty appealing for those Call of Duty players for sure.
Yeah, man. Like, I was looking today, and I was like, I have access to Madden 22, like on Xbox Game Pass. Like, that game just came out. Like, I was like, whoa,
Andy,
that's crazy.
How do you have access to Xbox Game Pass?
Because I bought an Xbox.
Oh, look at that segue. Boom. Let's talk about that.
Did I talk about how I bought the Xbox?
Maybe very briefly. Let's give us a quick recap.
So Preston and I, we film a lot of weddings. We're videographers at weddings. And we're filming the wedding. And so the Thursday before that, Preston or Houston, one of you guys hit me up and they were like, hey, Target has this crazy deal on an Xbox Series S. And I was like, oh, and I look, it was $50 off and came with an extra controller. So $250 for the console and 2 controllers. I was like, that's the best deal I've ever seen. And I was like, and that's probably around what the Black Friday offerings are going to be. So I was like, I'm just going to grab one now. And so I tried to grab it. It wasn't available. It was sold out. So I kind of like flagged it on my Target app. And then we get to the wedding and the officiant made this cheesy analogy or something of like, someone can love anything. You can love your dog or you can love your Xbox. And when he said that, I was like, oh yeah. So during the wedding, while I'm supposed to be working, I bought an Xbox on my phone. Anyway, so it came in. My kids were sick today. We couldn't go out anywhere. And I was like, you know what? Today's the day. So I busted it out. We set it all up. I made accounts for them and me and, did all the parental restrictions and did all that. And Game Pass was $1 to sign up for a month. And then I'll have to look up for some deals, but it's only $15 after that. And I will tell you what, man. After having the premium membership with PS Plus, doesn't hold a candle. Like scrolling through the games on PS Plus, I'm like, yeah, there's like a handful of AAA titles, but they're all pretty old, and I've played all of them. Like it just didn't feel
now to be clear, you've been on PlayStation for a long time.
Yeah, but I'm not talking just exclusives. I would say the majority of the games that are exciting to me on Xbox aren't exclusives. They're third-party games that are just there. Like, honestly, the only 2 exclusives that I downloaded were Flight Simulator, and I'll only play that a little, and Halo Infinite. No, and Forza Horizon 5. So 3 exclusives I downloaded, but there were like 7 or 8 more games that I was like, oh, I'm going to queue these up. And like, there's still even more than that as I was going, and the kids were excited. And then I was like, oh yeah, Xbox owns Rare. I could play Banjo-Kazooie again and introduce my kids to that. And like, I don't know. I got pretty excited jumping on another system. So that's
awesome.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did you play Tunic yet, or did you download it?
I queued it for download. Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, there was a lot to download. And so that's the other thing I want to talk. So because so much had to download, and it was taking a little longer than I expected. I was like, oh man, my kids want to play something now. So we decided to try xCloud because I could stream, and I've done that on PlayStation too. And I felt like the xCloud experience was so much better. It was awesome. Like, yes, there were moments where it would almost look like if you've ever looked at the way like progressive scan lines go on a old TV, like from top to bottom. Like every once in a while it would be pixelated, but then top to bottom it'd be like, and it'd be like, oh, whoa, it looks a lot better now. But then it would gradually get pixelated, but I wouldn't notice when it was getting worse. And then it would all of a sudden like scan and get way better. And I was like, whoa.
Yeah,
like,
so it's dropping resolution instead of dropping frames on you kind of thing.
So occasion, but that was very rare. And then, but that's the thing is that the play was perfect. Like I was playing fine. We jumped into this indie game, just randomly checked it out. Wasn't even excited for it or on my list. It was called, what did I say? It was called,
Lost in Random. Is that it?
Lost in Random. And it's a pretty cool story. It's very, if you were to mix like, I don't know if you've ever seen like the claymation movies by Leica, like Coraline or the Box Trolls or any of those.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Anyway, we love those movies. Very Nightmare Before Christmas would probably be like the like claymation that everybody knows.
Sure.
Not claymation, stop motion.
Yeah.
It's more.
I think that's also claymation though. But yeah, go ahead.
It may be, but it's in that style. The whole game is.
Ooh.
And it feels and looks very cool. But then like the theme is very Hunger Games, where like there are 6 districts that everyone lives in, and they're the 6 sides of a dice. And when you turn 12 years old, you every kid rolls the dice, and whatever number you roll, that's where you have to go live for the rest of your life, and you're stripped away from your family. And so what happens in the beginning of the game is you are this little girl and your sister's taken away from you. And so you decide, I'm going to get her back. And what she does is she rolls a 6. So, and it's ranked. So if you roll a 1, it's like the poverty, and if you roll a 6, you're like the castle, you're in luxury, and every other one in between. And so, and it's, dude, it was really fun. And like the story and the acting was great. And I loved just the theme felt so original. It's been a while since I've played a game that felt so, I don't know, I guess Cult of the Lamb kind of felt super unique and original, but it was pretty sweet, man. I was definitely into it, and the style,
it looks like a Psychonauts a little bit.
Tim Burton-esque is what I would say. Yeah, maybe. I haven't played Psychonauts. That's on Xbox too.
Yeah.
I want to play Grounded, which is on Xbox.
Yes, that would be awesome. I would love to do that. There are a bunch. There are just so many, man, that I want to jump into. We also played with the kids Minecraft Dungeons. I was the first one to finish downloading. It was pretty small. My kids really liked it. It's like a totally different experience than normal Minecraft. It's kind of like a Gauntlet or a not quite like like a very simple Diablo. It's fun.
Yeah, Gauntlet's probably a good comparison for that. So what is your overall like first impressions of like the Xbox experience versus like the PlayStation experience, like just using the console, like performance, all that kind of stuff, just general thoughts?
I think it is more intuitive out the gate. The only thing that's not intuitive, but that's not their fault, is the just A and B and X being all in different.
It's actually exclusively their fault.
Yeah.
Yep.
It just feels, I guess what I mean though is like
It's
if you're an Xbox player,
exclusive.
it doesn't feel bad to you. It's normal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah.
You know which one is weird is Nintendo is their affirmative button is where the B and the circle button are on Xbox and PlayStation respectively. That's weird. It's not the bottom button.
But then they started the controller revolution. So like,
This is true.
if anything, everybody else is screwed it up.
This is true. This is true.
So I don't know, man. I don't know who's to blame, but all I know is with each different one, I'm having to. I pressed the wrong button so many times. Every time I needed to press X, I pressed the bottom button, and I was like, oh, like I was so frustrated. Oh, I wanted to talk about Lost in Random the combat real quick. Just real quick. Sorry, I know I'm talking.
Go for it.
So the fighting is really fun. So what you do is every battle you start with nothing, and you just have a slingshot. And you have to find this like energy. And a lot of times it's like glowing on the enemies. So you have to aim and chip away at their armor or whatever. And then you have to run around and pick it up. And then once you get enough, you will draw cards, like cards will appear in your hand, quote unquote, as you're running around and fighting. And then once you get enough, you can roll your dice. And when you roll the dice, time freezes. And then in that moment, you can choose which card, and every card has a cost, and it depends what you roll. So if you roll a 5, you can play. If you're lucky, there is a chance element to it,
So,
and if you can play better or worse cards. So like, let's say a healing potion is only 1, but like if you want to get a sword for this fight, that's like you need to get a 3 or better, and then you have to spend that, and then you can unfreeze time. But now you have a cool weapon, and over the game, you unlock more and more cards in your quote unquote deck, so that like in the very first level, they teased you by like, you got to play for a few minutes with an awesome deck where you were like drawing awesome weapons and doing these things. It was just creative. It was just cool. And like, I liked the random nature of the dice mixed with the, like every combat you start weak and you have to get stronger. It was cool.
nice. Yeah, it seems like it's very well reviewed too. It has a 78 on Metacritic, and then a 9 out of 10 on Steam. So that's pretty solid.
And I really didn't know anything about it.
Nice.
So I don't know.
I'd never heard of it.
And that right there is the nature of Game Pass that's so cool too. Is this like, this looks cool. I've never heard of it. Let's give it a shot. Doesn't cost me anything more.
Nice. Very cool. Well,
So you said something about Madden being out. So you can play the newest Madden?
Madden 22 is on there. Yep.
Oh, Madden 22.
Is that not the newest one?
No, Madden 23 is the newest.
yeah, they always release it like a few months in advance, like
A year,
like
yeah.
4 to 6 months
like,
in advance.
It's like Cars. It's like Cars where they release the next year's model.
Yep.
Yeah.
yeah, like
That's
six,
so
six months
confusing.
or so. Yeah.
Oh, I thought it's 2022 right now. So I thought I had that was the newest one. My bad. Sorry, gamers out there. I'm not the biggest sports gamer. I like sports. I like watching sports. I don't know.
That's
Give me
where
an
it
NBA.
stops.
Give me an NBA or NFL street, and I'm in.
Yeah.
There we go. All right, so let's get into the main topic of today's episode. So we've talked about it quite a few times before, and I don't think I want to talk too much more about it, like at length, in terms of like what we've already talked about. But Overwatch 2, we're going to go ahead and give it a dad casual game review. So yeah, we've already talked about how like the media has received it and how like it's completely overtaken Overwatch 1. Like you can't play Overwatch 1 anymore. But I wanted to get into our thoughts about it. My thoughts specifically because I probably played it the most. But we've all actually had a chance to play it together, which is really fun. And so I think we can all kind of give like a little bit of information here and there. So yeah, I So my opening statement, and I wrote this down, is it's still Overwatch. For better or for worse, it's still Overwatch. And so what I mean by that is that all of these reviews that are saying it's Overwatch 1.5, this could have been an update, not a full version. I still think that holds true. Like my biggest beef, honestly, like when I first booted it up, is that the intro cinematic is identical, or it was when I first booted it up. Aside from all of like the DDoS attacks and like not being able to get into the game for like 72 hours straight. It just, that was like one of the smallest things they could have like done to kind of just make it feel new, other than just a new title graphic. So yeah, there's that, but there's a lot of redeemable things, like the new characters. I've played all of them, Sojourn, Junker Queen, and Kiriko. They're all extremely fun. So you have one in each of the main classes. So Sojourn is your damage dealer, Junker Queen's your tank, and then Kiriko is your healer support character. And they're all extremely well done, very much fits in the Overwatch family. And they're all a joy to play. So I'm looking forward to getting some more time with all of those characters. I don't know, did you guys try any of the new ones?
Yeah, I played a decent amount of the characters that are available. But I wasn't a huge Overwatch 1 player, so like even the new characters, even a lot of the old characters felt new to me.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
I wouldn't have even known who was new had you not told me. Gotcha. Yeah, that's one of the new ones.
Sure.
Yeah, I had never played it at all. So this was my very first time ever playing it, and it was pretty fun. I mean, I was playing with you guys, so y'all were explaining things to me. So
yeah, that's very much that nature, that type of game where it's like every character is different, and here's why. So that there was a lot of. Yeah. I'm glad we were like on Discord, like yelling at each other while the game was going on. The battle pass is also new, so that's something you're probably familiar with from Fortnite. But that's a newer concept for Overwatch, and I akin it to the way the characters unlock like every few rounds. It's kind of like Smash Brothers for those of you who have played that, where it's like you have a huge roster of characters, but you can't get them until you actually play the game. So it's kind of a give and take, because in the old game you just kind of had everybody, and now you have to at least somewhat earn everybody. So you have to unlock them. It's not really like behind a paywall or anything. But there's that, and then you get other things through the battle pass, like new skins, and like instead of like the loot boxes, that's what you get now. So I thought that was a cool experience. And then the biggest thing is the new meta, I think, along with like some new maps and a couple new gameplay modes. I think Andy Cortez from Kind of Funny put it best, is like they kind of trimmed out a lot of the fat and like all of the stuff that like wasn't fun about Overwatch 1 with all the game modes. And like some of the maps that were like a little lackluster, but then also changing this meta by cutting from 6 characters at once on each team to 5, I think really speeds up the game, and it kind of like makes the matches a little bit more exciting, a little faster, a little bit more bombastic. Your time to kill is actually quicker from what I've noticed. I think they tweaked that a little bit, so you die easier. I think just in general, even the tanks.
It's not as chaotic though too, and like it's bombastic and like but it's not as, it's just it's one less player on each team, you know what I mean? And like
I think it's even more chaotic though. I think I'd probably go against that. I think this one is like just walls of fireworks and stuff. Like it's because it's a quicker time to kill, like things are just happening quicker, even though there's less characters on the screen. There's just 2 less. But the thing is, like, everybody I feel like is like respawning a little bit quicker, and like when you hit a little bit harder. Like there are a lot of characters that like only have like 200 health in their game terms.
Sure,
not a ton, but like a lot of characters can one shot them. And so if you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, you just die.
So it's not the player count; it's the
tuning of the game.
Yeah, that makes sense. This is a tough one for me to like even place a review on, because on one hand, I still think and understand how this was 2016's game of the year by so many different publications. And I heard this, by the way, which I thought was kind of wild when you think about it, that this is one of the first game of the year games, Overwatch 1, that technically on paper doesn't exist anymore. Like game of the year games. Game of the year games, almost all of them exist. but this was a lot of people's game of the year in 2016.
Oh, you mean like you can't play the game of the year anymore?
Yeah.
The original.
From 7 years ago.
Yeah, and
that's not even that long.
Yeah, the more I think about it, the more sad I get about it. It's like, but like, what if I just want to play the first one again?
Yeah.
But that's where I'm like, I'm not sad because I'm like, and it makes it tough to review this. I go, is this a great game? I think, yes, I do think it's really fun. I think it has an addictive gameplay loop. I think it's got a huge fan base that likes the game. But does this feel like a new game? Not too much to me. It feels more like frankly, I would say like some of Fortnite's content updates when they do a new season feel like bigger changes than for Overwatch 2, which is claiming to be a new game.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I tend to agree with that. But I also try to take a step back and say, in a vacuum, disregarding all of that, disregarding Overwatch 1, disregarding like what could possibly happen in the future, like, is this a solid game? And I think my answer would still be, yeah, I think. So if we're going to go ahead and give it like a number,
and that's why I said it's hard, because
it is hard.
It doesn't feel like a new game. It feels like we're giving a review to an old game that got an update. And it's
and I'm trying to, I think I should be putting my mind out of that to give it an actual review. And if I were to do that, I'd probably get it like an 8.5 or 9. Like, I really do think it's that good.
Yeah, if you're reviewing it for the person who's like, I don't know what Overwatch is, that's the number I think you'd want to give them.
I think I give it a 9. I'll say that. Yeah.
But as a new installment and it is a series now, it's just, it's complicated. I think Overwatch still has a huge loyal fan base that still loves the game. I think they should be very excited about a lot of these things they're doing and the changes that they're trying to do. They may not love the I'm sure a lot of people can take or leave the battle pass and the monetization aspect of the game now. Yeah. But that really, to me, doesn't.
That was always there, though. There was always a way to pay money for skins and aesthetics and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And it doesn't really feel that intrusive. Not in the way that Blizzard has been doing.
Well, no, because it's not pay to win. It's literally just aesthetics.
Well, what I mean is Blizzard lately seems to have been saying that about all their games, but then secretly putting in pay to win mechanics, and they didn't do that here.
Correct. Yeah, it's very obvious that it's not in Overwatch, and I pray that it stays that way. So
yeah.
So personally, I like Fortnite better. I know it's not exactly the same.
I think it's a totally different game. Yeah. But
it felt very, very, very similar to me, except for picking up guns and that kind of stuff. Like,
I mean, yeah, it's
for me. It was a shooter where
it's a team shooter.
It's a battle royale to a not battle royale. That to me is a massive difference.
It is.
Like, otherwise, all shooters are the same. Like to me,
like theming and art wise, it's pretty similar. Like it's a little bit more on the goofy side. Like, it's very cartoony, very blocky.
I'll give you the cartoony part. Yeah, I would give you that for sure. The style and the look. Yeah, I would give you that for sure.
Mm-hmm. It has a very similar energy, but yeah, it is a different game for sure.
I think the hardest part for me was having to like rely on a team. Like in Fortnite, you can go even in quads or trios or duos. Like, you can be like, no, I'm going on my own over here. And then.
And it still worked.
Yeah, you could still win. Like, you could be on opposite sides of the circle and still win.
This is very much a codependent strategy game.
Yeah. You have to be chatting, like talking, or you're not going to win.
Yeah, and that's the other thing with the big difference between a game that's a battle royale is that a battle royale is simply survival. That's it. You don't actually have to kill anyone. I mean, theoretically.
Yeah, you could be in the circle and they could be out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so, like, that is not this game. This game is like a real, I hate to compare it more to like a sport where like there's a point system or there's a way to win the match, which definitely distinguishes it, I think. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I honestly, if you guys weren't playing it, I don't think I would play it.
Yeah.
Whereas Fortnite or Call of Duty or I'm trying to think of multiplayer games. I would definitely play. But
what's your? I'm just curious. What if you had to give Fortnite a number rating? What would you give it out of 10?
I think I just like it because like I can play it with friends or without. Out of 10, probably a 7 or 8. I enjoy it a lot. I feel it's super stable. I feel like they update a lot.
I'm probably right there with you.
Don't have to pay to play, but it's fun to pay to upgrade stupid shit.
Yeah, and I think Overwatch has that in common.
Yeah.
I will say this about skins, though. Like, Overwatch is a first-person game. Anything that's first-person, I almost like stop caring about what my character looks like because I'm like, I don't see myself ever.
Yeah.
Why would I just don't care? I don't know.
Yeah, that is a bit.
I don't buy skins for other people to see how cool I am. I buy them for me.
You sure?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
I want people to know how cool I am in games. Just
me too.
Like then when they see that sweet like negative KD ratio, I mean I want to know who's coming.
Get the KDA skins.
Yes. Oh man. But yeah, Overwatch 2. I'd highly recommend it, especially because it's free. Like definitely go try it out if you have any system that can play it, which is it's even on Switch. I didn't even know that until today. It's on Switch.
Yeah, it is.
Probably looks like just like oblong, rectangle, circle things, like just firing pixels at one another. But
maybe. I mean, yeah. I wonder how graphically intense it really is.
It's really. I think that's why they went for the blockier style, is so they could keep it faster on the multiple systems for sure. But
yeah. I think hyper realistic textures and graphics are always more processor intensive.
I still wouldn't want to play it on Switch though. I think that's just probably not a super pleasurable experience. But yeah, I'd give it a 9. I really would. I think it's that good for me at least. I don't know.
Yeah, but you would have given the original the same score, right? Like regardless of updates.
I want to say I like it more.
You like 2 more than 1?
I think just a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
I can't think of enough reasons why I'd like it more. But I didn't play it enough. So I guess
Yeah. It just
not the best. Yeah, this is definitely an ultra casual review from my perspective.
That's what we're about here. So Dad Casual, we have just as much time as our average listener to play games. And so I think our super casual reviews are just as valid. And so take it or leave it, but that's what we're going to leave you with. Alrighty. So moving on. Let's go on to Dad Tips of the Week. I've been liking this segment. I don't know about you guys, but it's kind of cool to like pick your brains and like get some advice from some dads in some similar situations. So, Andy, you want to give us a little tip of the week first?
Sure. So these are getting, we gave a couple big ones right out the gate that we're like, oh, this is the one I've really learned. I think your relationship with your spouse is such an important part of your relationship with your kids and being a dad. I think that can sometimes get downplayed or thought of as like another arena of life. Like you've got your marriage and then you've got like your kids. But it's all one, your house is one thing. So I was thinking about how really just focus on what do your kids see in your marriage, and particularly how you treat your spouse. So like I know with my wife, with Michelle, like there are certain things I try to do. Like I try to especially like love her a lot. And this might even sound extreme, but I try to like in front of my kids say like, I love you guys, but mom is still number one. And like, I don't want them to feel bad, but like, I want them to understand the importance of the relationship that she is to me, and that like they need to respect her because I care about that. And then I also need to model that. I need to like show a lot of honor to my wife, and lift her up. And obviously every marriage is different. And, you may have disagreements or fights, with your spouse, a lot even. And I would encourage you that, like, while fighting is normal and even healthy if done the right way, I think finding ways to say, like, hey, let's not talk bad about each other in front of the kids. Let's, if we're going to have a big argument, let's see if we can step into the bedroom and do it quietly, and not like, and don't be like ignorant to the idea that like the kids don't hear things too. Like, oh, they're kids, they don't hear it. I'm like, they do. Like, if you're screaming through in your bedroom and there's a thin wall, like, they hear you. Like, you need to find ways and times to do that appropriately. And I think if you honor your spouse, I think that will have a really important effect on them as they grow older and they start entering the dating and the how do I treat, particularly the opposite sex and different things like that. I just think it's just it means a lot to them, and I think most psychologists and sociologists agree that healthy parents really help a child as they're growing with stability and confidence. And so, and we're all going through different things. And I would say, like, Preston, I would love to hear, like, I know you have a different tip, but like you've talked before about like, as a child of divorce, you've told me a few times about your mom, right?
Mm-hmm. She always, and this is one thing that I tell a lot of people, like, even though the divorce was, it was the fault of my dad, my biological dad, my mom never, ever, 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 ever let us speak ill of him, even separated, even divorced, even when my mom remarried. Like, it was something that she instilled in my brother and I, like, you will always respect him. You don't have to like him. You don't have to love him. You don't have to do any of that, but you're going to respect him when he's around and when we talk about him. I never heard my mom talk negative about him, even though he did some pretty messed up things. But I look back and I'm super thankful for that. So,
yeah. And maybe she did to like her close friends, but she never did with you.
Right.
And that's cool.
Yeah. I think that kind of goes into, like the whole united front thing, like when you're in public too, like around friends and family, with your spouse, it's just like, hey, like if something comes up and you guys need to like have an argument about it, like don't do it there. Like definitely like have each other's backs and kind of like be that singular unit when you're out in public in front of people, and then have your discussions when you go home.
For sure. Yep. And just as one more side thing too, when you are talking to, let's say you're talking to your parents, try to never bring up the personal things or the talking bad about your spouse in any kind of way to them. Because what inevitably happens is you're talking, say I'm talking to my mom and I say like, oh, Michelle did this today and she disrespected me, or she's like, I say that. Well, what oftentimes happens is days pass and then Michelle and I make up and she might even apologize to me, or like things are made right. But then I might not remember to tell my mom that. So like all my mom hears is the negative and the things. And then so like oftentimes what parents and loved ones will do is they'll be bitter for you. And they've never been apologized to.
Yeah.
So now there's this built-in like, I don't like the way she treats him and did it. And it's like, well, if I never really would have brought that up to my mom, it wouldn't have ever been an issue. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, just something to think about. Gotcha. There are people, obviously you need people to vent to, just maybe not the people you have Thanksgiving dinner with. That's all I'm saying.
Yep.
Nice. Great tip, man. Preston, what you got?
Mine's not as serious.
Mine's even less serious than both of yours. So
don't let your kids win in video games. Make them tough.
Dude, that is
Mario
serious.
Mario Kart.
Crush them.
Nah. Crush them.
Okay, hold on. You gotta elaborate. Do you put if there's a handicap for them, would you do it?
Yeah, probably. Like in Mario Kart, you mean, where they can auto drive or whatever. Yeah, I'd probably do that.
But then when they win, hey, you only won because of this, by the way, just so you know.
Just
yeah.
No quarter whatsoever.
Yeah, so I want I want the moment to be even sweeter when they come over and they're like 25 and they finally beat me and they're like, I did it.
Yeah, dude.
I really did it.
Did you ever have that moment? I don't know, dad or stepdad, maybe like anything like that. Like maybe it wasn't video games, like basketball. I don't know.
No.
Golf.
No. Yeah, actually, golf is probably a good example. I shot one time, like a couple strokes under my stepdad, and I was like, I did it. And we played from the same tees, and he may have let me win. I don't know, and I will never know. But I'll take it with me that I did it.
That's cool. And mine was that with racquetball. My dad played racquetball, but like, unfortunately, I'm not really sure I ever had the moment I beat him. Like, even when I was like 19, I was like, this old man, I can't beat him. Like, it was so frustrating. I think I did, but never consistently. And it was like, we'd play 10 games and he'd win 9 of them. It was just, it was hard.
But you got the one.
That was his like sport he liked to play at the gym.
Racquetball.
It's fun if you've never played. I would love to play if there was one around.
I'm sure there is.
Yeah, maybe. Right. How about you, Houston?
I guess mine's like a little less silly actually, but always bring extra diapers. That's it.
Yes.
That's the tip. No. I kind of put like a little AKA, always be prepared for trips and outings, because it is not fun to deal with babies and the things that come out of their bodies whenever you do not have enough of the things to take care of that, like wipes and diapers and powders and what have you. So that goes for like extra bottles and the bag that everything goes in, and medicine and jammies and all that kind of pacifiers.
Yeah, clothes go with diapers for sure.
Always extras. So a bit of a practical tip there.
I got a funny story about that.
Do it.
The first trip we ever took with Rhett was to Austin, Texas. And we were going, I forget what for, but we were going to visit my aunt. They had a lake house. And we were like, all right, let's get away with Rhett. Take him on his first trip. It'll be a drive, but it won't be crazy. We were headed to Texas and we stopped in Lafayette to get lunch at the Chick-fil-A. And Christine was like, grab his diaper bag. And I was like, okay. And I look in the back and no bags are there for him. We packed our bags, completely forgot Rhett's bags.
Uh-oh.
Luckily, you two know that Chick-fil-A right there has a Target. So we went into Target and bought new bottles, new clothes, diapers. Like, you guys know with kids, like, you can never have enough of any of that stuff. Anyway, so we went and bought it, but I was like, you've got to be kidding me. This is how we're going to start our first vacation together?
Just like a $200 Target trip, just right there.
Yes.
Not fun. Yep. Word. All right, well, there you go. Listeners, some dad tips of the week. If you ever want to hear our thoughts on your parenting troubles or dad troubles or what have you, feel free to email us at dadcasualpodcast@gmail.com. And we'd be happy to talk about that. So real quick, I don't know if we have like too much more to talk about in terms of updates for You Gotta Play This / what have we been playing. But I'll go real quick. I actually did get a chance to play a couple of hours of Super Hot. I haven't gotten to Ori and the Blind Forest, but yeah, Super Hot. Nice. Got on PlayStation because it's one of the games in PlayStation Plus for this month. And it is fun. Like it's cool. It's a puzzle game. Like, I guess that wasn't clicking for me when we talked about it.
Yeah.
But it is straight up, it's a shooter puzzle, which is a really weird thing to combine. But they do it super, like, really well done.
Super hot. It's super awesome.
Super hot.
But it's also, it's like a puzzle that's still skill based. Like, right?
Yeah.
Like, you still have to be good at the game.
You have to be decent,
It's not just a mind game.
But it's also, and I think I texted you guys before this because I was actually playing it a little bit. Like, the mind games, they play with you while you're playing the game. I don't know how far you are yet, Houston, but
not super far, but
it messes not like actually messes with your head, but the story is like very meta, and so it really messes with your head.
Yeah, they like present it like you're talking to somebody, and they're sending you the versions of the game to play because it's a crack from this company that they infiltrated. I haven't gotten too far in it, but I can imagine what unfolds with that. It seems very tongue in cheek, very like I get what you're saying.
I remember seeing the trailer for their DLC and thinking like, what in the heck is going on?
Yeah, what was it? Control Alt Delete.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's it's like very much like somebody's like talking to you from the Matrix almost kind of vibes. And like I love the stylistic theming of like both the game and the menu screen. Like the menu is like very much like CRT, like DOS computer type thing where like you have a lot of chromatic aberration like on the text, and like everything's glowy and weird and super glitchy. And then the game itself is this super like crazy abstract white walled background, but the characters are like these geometric like polygonal glass like human being type characters, and you're like a black human being like version of that as well. So yeah, it's very like stark, like crazy looking game because it's really just like three colors. It's like black, white, and red, and so it's kind of interesting to follow everything around like that.
Just wait.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna keep playing it because it's a good like you can pick it up for like 5-10 minutes, do like 1 or 2 missions, and then put it back down.
Yep.
So that's cool. But yeah, haven't gotten to go ahead.
Once you get, I won't spoil anything, but once you get far enough, if you pause it, it messes with the game too.
Awesome. I love that. I love when games break the fourth wall like that.
Yep.
Oh man, one day you got to jump on Control.
Oh, I've played a little bit of it. That one's, I haven't beaten it at all, but that one's a mind F for sure.
So that one, I can't talk about it. It's too much of a spoiler. But the end of Control gets very, it's just what you just said, Preston. It messes with your mind, and it breaks the fourth wall while also doing some pretty meta, insane things, and it's awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, that's all I really got a chance to play on my list. I played some more Final Fantasy 1 on mobile, and that's been great. Anybody else playing anything off their list?
Not off the list. I just played Super Hot, a couple, like an hour-ish, so total.
Yeah.
So.
We've all been really busy lately with all of our jobs.
I think I'm done with Monster Hunter World. I've pretty much talked about it. I don't know. I'm not enjoying it too much. I just think it's just not the game for me.
Yeah. I want to hold my tongue on it, but I have my reservations about Ori because it's another like Metroidvania style game again. Those just generally aren't my favorite. It looks very similar to Hollow Knight.
It's not like Hollow Knight though,
aesthetically, but
I think that's why I wanted to give it to you. I think this is my last hope that you'll like the genre, and I think it's more up your alley. I think the story and the whimsical nature and the lack of insane difficulty will speak to you.
Okay.
Like it's not near the difficulty that Hollow Knight was, but it's still, I mean, it has its moments. And I just really love just the aesthetic is really cool. Like to me, like it surprises me you don't like those games because they feel puzzly in the way that Zelda, in a way, Zelda is like a Metroidvania to me.
Yeah.
Like you go to areas and then you get a new ability and you can go back to old areas and like, especially the 3D Zeldas, and you can do things in those areas now. And like, you like Zelda games. So like, I feel like you just must be playing the wrong Metroidvanias.
It's probably the 2D nature as well. Like that's a factor for me. I feel like I'm stuck in a 2D game a lot of the times. You know what I mean?
The Ori 2 has more of a verticality. Like there's like a lot of swinging, like Spider-Man, like
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
I didn't play much of it, but I did like Shovel Knight.
Oh, okay.
So
anyway, so if you don't love it, you don't love it. But I wanted to give you one more. I actually didn't realize that now that you just said it, that I was giving you Metroidvanias back to back, but it's so good.
Totally fine. I'm into it.
You guys will have to, because now that I'm not going to be playing more Monster Hunter, I need a new one from both of you guys. But I do kind of feel like, and I said this to you guys, I think offline maybe, that there's so many games I want to play right now that even this topic of you got to play this is like, I'm not as excited about. Like, it's so good during dry seasons, but like when I come back from my vacation,
oh man,
like
it's about to be game season.
Yeah,
bro, it's gonna be wild.
It like God of War and Batman come out back to back.
Gotham Knights.
Yeah, Gotham Knights.
Batman's in it, sort of.
Kind of.
He's dead.
Is he though?
Spoiler.
Is he the leader of the Court of Owls? Is he the main guy? And at the very end, you have to fight Batman?
Oh, God.
Oh, gosh.
All right.
There's
And
no
on that
videos,
note-
but I'm doing like blow your mind.
Yeah. If you guys don't have anything else urgent with new games, I think we can go ahead and wrap it up. Make this episode a little shorter than usual. But listeners, thank you so much for joining us here on Dad Casual. We really do appreciate each and every listen that we get, each and every message that we get from you guys. It means a lot to us. So feel free to share the podcast, leave us a comment, a like, a subscribe, a review. Reviews are super useful. Sharing it to your friends and families who like video games, who are dads, who are neither of those things, but you think might get a kick out of us talking. We'll take any of that. And if you have any questions for us, dadcasualpodcast@gmail.com. And we are out.
Peace.
Bye.